go. 1, 2, 3, showtime. Alright, get this.
What's up, y'all? Feel Better TV back in the joint, kicking the bobos.
Shooting the breeze.
Yeah, that too. But another topic, we're gonna talk about debt this episode. You know, how you manage it and dealing with collections. Being that I got a background in collections and how not to let it stress you. So we're gonna get our resident Webster's Dictionary thesaurus on the joint. So
Yeah,
kick it.
Yeah, let's see what we got here. I gotta get it going, man. My whole little fingers here. Let's see what we got. Debt. A debtor. Yeah, let's see what it look like. See what that look like. Gotta clear all this other stuff off. Debt is let's give me national debt. We're just talking about debt in general, right?
Alright.
Let's see. Debt.
I don't think nobody in this room got enough to take care of the national debt.
The debt meaning, okay, debt is a financial obligation or liability requiring one party, the debtor, to pay money or provide services to another party, the creditor, usually including principal and interest. It represents money borrowed, such as mortgages, credit cards, loans, that must be repaid over time. Key aspect of debt, components. Debt is composed of a principal, original amount, and interest cost of borrowing. Common forms include consumer debt, credit cards, auto loans, and corporate or government bonds. Components. Debt can be secured, backed by collateral, or unsecured. Usage example, repaying debt. She is working hard to pay off her state student loan debt. The company took on too much debt to fund its expansion. And that's national debt. The government is trying to reduce the national debt. Synonyms of debt: liability, obligations, arrears, if overdue, debit, loan, indebtedness, and due. In a non-financial context, it can also mean feeling of gratitude, such as a debt of gratitude. That's the definition of Google.
All right, dictionary man.
Let's see what we got.
Well, I'm looking at the definitions because when I look at debt, I look at mostly credit cards and, like, say if you get auto loans, things like that. A lot of what is a part of this too is like student loans, because which I think is a scheme in itself, because, you know, when you're trying to fund yourself to have a better life or just be smarter, they encouraging you to take on loans and whatnot, and the interest rate and how those how they're operated is not really beneficial to some people, especially depending on the fields that you're studying. So I strongly encourage if you are getting student loans, to make sure it's something that's worthwhile that will pay in the end, unless you don't have any interest on paying it back, which would be detrimental to you and any other future tax things you try to do in the future. Two forms of credit card debt: secured and unsecured. For low credit score people, most of them get into secured credit cards, which is basically you paying a down payment, which is money that you can use, and those are pretty good on starting out, because if you keep up a good payment history, that increases your credit score, and at the same time, eventually that turns into a unsecured card, which is basically them giving you the money back that you use to build your credit up, and either increasing the amount that you paid down or using that same amount for you as a credit line. That's one of the things that tripped me out about how credit works too, because depending on your credit rating, the lower your credit rating is, the higher your interest rate would be, and the less obligation, the more obligation you have as far as paying that back, and the higher your credit rating is, the more easier and more higher your credit rating would be, which is kind of backwards in itself, but it does make sense as far as the amount that they give you access to, because you don't want to give somebody with a low credit rating $100,000 credit line and them maxing out and not having any way to pay that back, basically shooting their credit rating in the foot. But at the same time, I think it should be made easier for lower credit score people to get lower interest rates at least, because for the most part you're getting these 20-30% credit ratings, interest rates on credit lines, which in itself is you almost paying a third of what you borrowing back. So, or at least a quarter of that. So and that's tough on people with this low earning and low credit score.
I mean, rich people should borrow, but poor people really shouldn't borrow. Think about it. Like, you in debt, you borrow $100 at a 30% interest rate. You owe them $130. The cost of the loan costs you $30 plus the principal. It's not ideal, but it's an ancient saying that the borrower is the servant of the lender. So, in actuality, if you want not to be a servant and you want to be free, you shouldn't really borrow, especially if you ain't got no money.
And I work for two of the like payday loan lenders.
Yeah.
And those are the biggest scam in the world, because they charge anywhere from 100 to 300% on whatever you borrow. So you wind up paying 3-4 times back what you took back. And for the most part, depending on the type of income you have, you're paying that back twice a month, on top of the high interest rate that you're paying back. So
Christians, I think they can charge interest. If they're Jewish, according to their script, they can't charge interest to their brother. Islamic religion, they don't supposed to take on interest. They don't supposed to borrow for interest. They got loan is supposed to be just straight whatever you borrow.
That's some good stuff. Maybe I should become a Muslim.
I know, right? It's a freedom behind that. That's why they're able to buy businesses. That's why they're able to get a lot of things in the communities that they think people, how do they get this? 4 or 5 of them get together, they lend somebody something, there's no interest on top. Well, now you don't have to pay the interest. That's a lot of money. If you buy a car for let's say a used car, $10,000, you got a real bad interest rate. Man, you're gonna get hit upside the head, or the duration of the loan. So if you got, let's say 5 or 10 credit cards and you paying 30% on each credit card, it's pretty bad.
Mm-hmm.
You got $1,000 here, $1,000 there. All you doing is paying interest. You're not even paying the principal. So it's not even possible for you to pay that card off for the rest of your life.
I want to disagree with that as far as the possibility of it.
Yeah.
It
How
all
long will it take?
It all depends on the usage and how you actually paying it back. Cause
I'm talking about topped out cards.
If you paying the minimum required payment,
Yeah.
it is gonna take you forever. But it'd be better to pay
double up.
If not double the minimum payment or more, because that way you paying more into the principal instead of just paying interest all the time. Because if you're just making minimum payments, all you doing is paying the interest on the loan.
Yeah.
You're not really paying on the principal.
I had
And
a
it never
situation.
becomes possible for you to increase that credit line or pay back the amount that you borrowed at the same time.
Some people just pay from the lowest. If they want to pay their debt off, they usually they call it a snowball effect. They take the smallest bill, pay that off, then go to the next one, pay that off. Anything you save on the next one, put it on the next one.
That go into our last conversation about obligations and priorities. But what I want to, and this also lean into what we've been talking about as far as education, because these are lessons that we should be teaching the younger generation, especially our children and any young person you have around you. Because, like I said, I didn't have these lessons growing up. I know when I got out of high school, I got like 3 credit cards, maxed them out immediately. You know,
Wait. Why did you max them out? That's the question.
just silly, just buying stupid stuff.
I mean, like, you never thought about paying it back, or?
I did, and when I did pay it back, I was just paying the minimum payment because that's all it asked for.
To keep you aboard.
You know what I'm saying? That was an early lesson that I learned as far as how to use credit and using it wisely. So, like, and again, because I wasn't taught about the usury part of it and the paying back, it was a tough lesson to learn, but it was a much needed lesson because, you know, it's something that I can tell other people now.
Well, we could do three main topics on loans. We got mortgage, auto loan, we got student loan, and then credit. That'd be 4.
I don't have any experience with student loans or the
They stay
mortgages.
with you. I hear a lot of people talking about that.
And cause I got a extensive background in collections, cause I did all type of collections work. You know, I started out doing consumer credit, like the people with credit cards and whatnot. Then from there I moved to the housing industry, and that was one of the best places I had an experience with because it was dealing with people that was either trying to keep their homes or sell their homes. So it was all stressful because, you know, who want to hear from a bill collector? But that was the most rewarding part of it. I dealt with people dealing with student loans also, and that's tough because after a certain point, you could ignore them for as long as you want, but there's no getting around it because eventually it becomes a garnishment and they're taking part of whatever income that you have. And once you get to that point, you can't get out of that, you know, unless you lose that job and get another one, but who wants to be going through all of that?
Yeah. So
I did.
So basically you start off when you're young. You start off with a credit card, maybe 1 or 2, get you through school, or then you get your school loan, and you top that off, and then when you get out of school, you're gonna need a car. Then you get the auto loan.
While you in school, you probably gonna get the car.
So you got credit card, you got 2 credit cards. You're a student in school. You get a student loan because all your Pell Grants ain't covering it. So then you need a car to get around to get to your job. Then you get the car. Now you graduate.
All right,
You
now
got-
you're looking for a home.
50 to a couple, 20, 30, 40,000 worth of debt maybe. Then some people look for a home after they marry, and some people look for a place before, like a condo or something like that. So now we're gonna talk about mortgage. Like, you might not even be the person to need a mortgage because you might not even need to buy a house because if you move, you're gonna end up having to sell it, and then it might not be easy to sell when you're trying to move. So you gotta figure out like what works for you. Do I really need to get a house now, a condo, or do I need to get an apartment until I figure out where I want to be planted?
I think it's smart. Like, if I'd have known this coming up, and this is what I would encourage younger people to do, to try to get into real estate, trying to get your own place, because that's a good way to have income in case something goes bad. Because if you're paying off the house, you get equity into that. That's something that you could, you know, take funds off of if times get rough. But, you know, it's not really encouraged that much. So a lot of people getting apartments and basically making their renter rich, their landlord rich. And getting an apartment, the way it works now, you gotta have 2/3 of, you gotta making more than.
Well, if you
Three
get a
times.
building, that's got tenants in it, you can use the tenants.
That's part
Right.
of getting a house though, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But I'm talking about it with the renter part of it, because basically with the renting part of it, you gotta be making at least 2/3 more than what you asking for. what the rent is. And that's smart because, with you paying rent, you're going to be paying probably a car note and other insurances, utility bills and things like that. And you're going to have to feed yourself. So it's smart what they're using it for. But with the way things are rising now, a regular apartment in a decent neighborhood is going to run you anywhere from $1,500 to $2,000. $1,500, to $2,000, and that's a lot in itself. And it's not a lot of employment that's paying that. That's part of the reason why you see people working for these corporations like Walmart and Target and all of that, where they getting subsidized by the government with food stamps, SNAP benefits, and TANF and all of that stuff. And that also leads into what your priorities and obligations are as far as rent, credit cards, and all of that.
Your average car $40,000. Now a house is like $200,000 to $300,000, depending on where your location at. Then you got the upper well-off people, $400 to $700. So you got to be able to put 20% down on the house. Let's say if you got a $100,000 fixer upper, you gotta have $20,000 just to put down
Right.
on the conventional loan. So like that means you would have to been saving that money every year, $1,000 a month for like 20 months. And that means you be serious about saving money. And that's like, well, why you ain't going out? Well, I'm getting on my money. I'm trying to save up for a crib.
Priorities and obligations. And leading to your goals and dreams.
Yeah. So now, if that's a part of your dream, then let's say you buy a house and get all this debt. Then now you put everything you got into it, then something break down. Oh man, now you gotta finance that. So it can put you over. It can keep putting you over to the point where you got so many loans, you have to buy, you have to get this done, get that done, get this done. But that's the fixer-uppers. You expect that. But like with the newer houses, you might not expect no extra stuff. You just know you got a high price mortgage. You got to be able to pay the association fees if it's a area where everybody in a gated community or something. Condo. So like basically if you know what you want in life, it's much simpler. But if you just go off the regular American setup, you get your credit card, you get your student loan, now you got a car loan, and now you're trying to go for a house. You gotta have something in between to try to break some of that off, That means you have to have serious money coming in. And those jobs nowadays, it's serious money, and I see a lot of people downtown in $1 million condos and the 500,000 condos, but like, I don't know what they do to make that type of money. Really, I don't. Unless their mom or dad got old money, they putting into their future, or they getting trust fund money, I don't see too many of us downtown like that in those $500,000, $300,000 condos and right on the lakefront, We in the hood, But I guess that's another show. Again, gentrification and all that. But overall, that when you talk about debt, that's really a stress if you think about it. So much debt that you don't have enough money coming in to even eat. Just all your money just go away before you even see it. Every check you work for, you got a zero at the end or you under. That's gotta be depressing.
Well, and it's another thing too that's not really taught as far as, making dollars stretch, so you don't have to worry about obligations as much, not having to have, every pair of Jordans that come out, not having to wear the super high-end name brands, the Gucci's and the Louis Vuitton.
Well, sacrificing, like you say, right? Sacrificing.
You know what I'm saying? Because,
then they're going to say, what are those?
Right, I grew up in that era, so, I and it's funny, too, because I lived in Chicago, so for the most part, Gold Blast was where we shopped at. That's pretty much gone now.
Mm-hmm.
But, it wasn't as much. It was still teasing about gear and whatnot, but it's not to the point now where you having Tyler's that could barely walk and they got, Jordans and whatnot.
So what type of money you need to not have debt?
And that's all depending on the person, the lifestyle that they want to live, and the area that they want to live in.
Okay, let's say you don't want to live in the hood no more.
If you don't want to live in the hood, I'm thinking that, and it's still depending on the lifestyle. You cannot live in the hood, but you still have to worry about the prices of things in that area, especially when you don't live in the hood, as far in the cities. You have to deal with transportation because most everything that you're working at is either in the deep suburbs or in downtown areas.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to worry about transportation. Then you also have to worry about feeding yourself and how big your family is, feeding them to.
And some people get farms. Some people move out of the country and get a farm, and they sell some of the stuff they grow.
I don't know anybody that does that. So, but that's a nice idea. And that's actually something that I wouldn't mind doing myself.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, I told you in other shows that I wouldn't mind going back to the SIP.
Yeah. But then you have to deal with the racial issue, like racism, and sometimes they look down on people coming back from the city.
I mean, it ain't like they not looking down in the city too.
Yeah, it's just more hidden. That's what they say. But
I wouldn't say so. Especially like nowadays and
I've seen it.
In administrations, most of this stuff not hidden no more.
I went to Memphis one time. They said, "You need to go back where you come from, boy." I said, "What?"
You remember that? I think it was Droopy. I guess I gotta take you back to the city.
Man, I was like, man, this was like in the '90s. I'm like, man, what are you talking about? Go back to where you come from, boy. Where you see a boy at?
But that's how it is, though. Like, and again, I see that here too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but like if you buy a property and down south, it probably be less money than here.
And that's one of the things that I realized too from my time in Indianapolis, and even when I lived in Kalamazoo, Michigan. The cost of living is a lot cheaper because I wasn't making as much money as I was making here, but it went a lot further because I didn't have to pay as much in rent.
Yeah, and
only thing it was like during that time it was something like the gas prices now, but they were a lot higher then. But that was the biggest expense that you had was transportation. And one of the things about it is I talked about it before. When you move out of Chicago, transportation is a lot different because. Like we live in Chicago, and it's easy to get around without a vehicle. In other inner city areas, it's not the same. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like buses and
so your debt ratio is a little different down south.
It's a lot.
But your salary ratio is different down south too.
But that's the thing about it. It can be buoyed by the fact that you don't have to spend as much.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times in these rural states, the taxes are nowhere near what they are here. Because like we live in Illinois, where we got one of the highest tax rates in the country. We were up there with New York and California.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another thing to take into account too. So that's another reason why the time that I spent in Indiana, my money went a lot further than it did here.
Yeah. And they got the farm to table down south, so food is reasonable. Food is very reasonable.
I was in Indianapolis. Wasn't a lot of farms over there, bro.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. No. Well, Indiana do got farms,
yeah,
but outside of Indianapolis.
Illinois got farms, but
yeah, 20, 30 miles away,
right.
40 miles away.
We don't live by those farm areas.
You got your city farms now.
I have gone to some of those farmers markets here, but you don't see that until the weather break. Like you're only coming back now in the spring and the summer.
Mm-hmm. So when you talk about debt, and you talking about like compound interest, like just like stocks, it just keep going on and on. It gets more debt the same way. All the interest keep piling up. You miss one payment, what happens?
And that's the thing about it.
In your experience, what happens when you miss one payment?
Well, I haven't missed payments since.
I'm talking about as a collector?
Well, it all depends on the type of account that you have, because like, missing a payment is not much. You don't really have to deal with it if you got a solid payment history. But if you go past like 60 days or whatnot without no type of contact or informing them of the situations, but for the most part, you okay. That's part of what I was trying to encourage though, when you do have these type of accounts, even if you just making a minimum payment, at least keeping that on point. But I still encourage anybody to pay double the minimum payment if you can or more.
I love secured debt. Because no matter what, you can pay it off. Because you got the money that'll front it. So if somebody don't got good credit, let's say your credit all jacked up, you go get you a secured credit card for a year or two, you good because you put the money up and you paying payments and you showing you paying. And then it turns into like a history of you paying on time, but it's really your money
Right.
you paying.
And that's the thing about it. Those are good starter points for people with either no credit or bad credit.
Yeah.
And depending on what you got, because like you could, like I bank with Huntington, you could get a secured card for as little as $250.
What's your social security number?
It's 123.
You let them know 1 through 10?
Right. No, it's 1 through 7.
1 through 7. Oh man.
But like you get a secured card, you can get like I said, as little as $250, and you can do the same with other banks too, like Capital One.
Yeah.
Trying to think.
The irony is that I've collected a lot of debt along the years, unforeseen debt, and that's stuff that happens when you have like property and stuff like that, or credit cards and cars and children, family, all type of stuff will happen. But you have to kind of like keep your bearings and not kind of panic. You just gotta have a plan, and if your plan, if you work the plan, it works for you. But if you got a plan and you don't do it, then you just stuck. You're just gonna keep, everything gonna keep doubling until you get to figure out what you're gonna do with it.
Like Hannibal say, I love it when the plan comes together.
Don't go to the casino trying to get your rent money and your credit card
I
money.
don't know nothing about that, bro. I don't gamble. And that's gonna be another topic that we talk about too in the future.
The mindset of the gambler.
Not even of the gambler, it's just how easy it is now, because you have all these different apps.
Oh yeah, with the sports betting, and the game, and what the outcome's gonna be.
And it's funny too because they have all these commercials for the different betting apps, and those are different dopamine hits related to men, because like men would be the main ones using those.
Well, even in the casino, that's dopamine too. When you hit the slot machine, it's
Right.
all dopamine.
No, but I'm talking about the
the sports.
apps. The apps.
Oh yeah.
Because like we the main purveyors of the sports betting, and like women, they dopamine, they getting that from the social media.
Yeah, I was Uber and the guy said he was gonna put money on the Bears already for the Super Bowl.
I did that last year.
You almost made it.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it again too.
Oh yeah.
Like what I wish I would have did it for the Sox in 2005, because I thought about it. Like now the Sox are trying to get good, because that's my team. I'm Chicago all the way.
I got some tickets for April 3rd too, or April 4th, Monday.
Jilla be having tickets to those too.
I got some tickets, so if it's an evening game on a Monday.
Okay, we'll see. We'll see how the schedule goes.
Yeah.
Cause I got tickets to the Sky games too, so
I think it's a 7:00 game, 6 o'clock, something like that.
I want to try to get some tickets to a Blackhawks game. I've never been to a hockey game.
Nah, me either.
I went to see the Fire when they were.
I don't think they give out hockey tickets, do they?
I don't know.
I know they give out Sox tickets.
I went to
Bulls tickets.
when I was living in Milwaukee. I went to an Admirals game. That's one of the semi-pro leagues. I forget the name of AHL.
Yeah.
But the Milwaukee Admirals. I went to one of their games.
Okay.
But I was a kid, and it was like when I went to see the Chicago Fire play. I really didn't know what I was looking at.
Yeah, cause like I'm curious to think like when it comes to debt, getting back to debt,
No, go ahead.
like do these companies know how much it takes to keep you coming back to work?
What do you mean by that?
Like they give you so much amount of money, they know you're gonna get this amount of debt. You'll think that you get so much money that people are like, you know what, I got enough money, I don't need to work no more. It ain't never enough. They keep you coming. They keep you coming back no matter what. And then with the let's say Black Friday come up, everybody want to give them gifts. You know the holidays come around, 4th of July. You got all these different holidays where they spend money, and then they give overtime right around that time because they know people ain't gonna have no money and credit cards.
See, I'm big on not being so much of a consumerist, cause like I especially.
But that's what the
I don't-
country is built on,
I don't do
consumerism.
any of those holidays, bro. Like Christmas. I barely do my birthday, you know, cause for the most part, all these is man-made generated holidays for you to spend money on.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like Valentine's Day, Sweetest Day, all these other Easter, all this stuff.
We all know it's designed for you to keep spending money.
Right, and
they make 60% of their earnings on Christmas, and you buying gifts for Christmas.
And that's one of the things about it. Like, I'm not gonna encourage my children to participate in any of that, because that's one of the things that I'm kind of glad that I was more grounded growing up, where I didn't have all those worries and whatnot. Like my parents participated in those, but it wasn't to the point where I saw them mortgaging their future
Hurt.
for a quick fix.
So let's talk about these debtors. It's basically banks. Whoever own these banks, they come to people, okay, here's a card. They keep sending you all these notices. You see how you can get so many credit card notices in the mail for you to apply for one? You get like 50 applicants. They be like sending you all these cards. Why is they just giving away so much money?
That's to keep you tied in, bro. I mean, that's basically the way the system works is, you know, the more you tied into them as far as you're obligated to pay them back, the more they have you in the system as far as, if not working for one of their companies, you know what I'm saying? Working yourself to death for yourself to pay them back.
With the mortgages, it's crazy because they'll see you almost finished with your loan, right? They say, why don't you refinance and get some money? You need some money, don't you? You need $20,000, don't you? You want to get you a new car? You want to go travel? You want to go do this? You want to fix up something? And then you have to get a whole nother 30-year loan. And you was just 5 years away from paying your loan off.
Well, see, and that's the thing about it. Like, it's more to that person, cause like, if you're smart enough to know where you at, you're not falling for that trap.
Yeah.
You know, if you really paying attention to things, and the only way I see you falling for anything like that is if you in need. Cause for the most part, you generally understand your situation and where you at as far as financially and what your obligations and priorities are. You know, and what adding on any other obligation would do towards what you had set up as far as a goal. Like, and you don't want to detract from that by adding on.
And a lot of older people get cards when they get real old because they know, hey, I'm almost done. I'll never pay that card back.
And I don't see a problem with that either. Because like, it's not like that is going to fall on these children. Like, once they pass, it's
Well, they do ask the children to pay it.
They can ask all they want.
They ask them like, hey, you sure you don't want to pay your parents?
No, my name ain't Keith. My name ain't Faye.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a pretty good spill on debt. That's a pretty good spill.
And one of the other things too, being that I worked in the industry as far as collecting, you don't need to avoid those calls and you don't need to be abrupt with those people. Just let them know this is the situation. You know, you could talk to them later. But avoiding those calls is only gonna make more people call. And some people, like working in the industry I have for so long, some people that are calling you about those take on a personal vendetta to try to irk you on, and just don't fall for it. You know, you don't have to mirror them if that's what they are. If that's what their attitudes
I used to
are.
have my debt collectors hang up on me. Cause I get to talking about, hey, how you doing? We be talking for a long time. And he like, well, how much you get paid an hour? Yeah. Where you at? You in Florida? Yeah, well, I'm not working right now, so, what you want me to do, And then we get to talking for a long time till they have to get off the call. Cause there ain't nothing moving. I mean, once they know you're not working, they want you to borrow money from your auntie, your cousin.
And that's one of the other things about it. Like being in the industry I've been for so long, you always trying to ascertain what they can and can't do, and if they have any type of, lifelines that could get them that. And I never really got into that myself because I felt like that was being very intrusive. But it different strokes for different folks.
Yeah, because they will call you back to back, right?
No, that's illegal.
Oh, okay.
Once they got in contact with you, you shouldn't hear from them again until the next day at the earliest.
Okay. Yeah, they start about 8 o'clock to 8 p.m., right? Something like that?
Yeah, 8 to 8, and they can't leave more than one message at one place.
Yeah.
So, once they left a message anywhere, you shouldn't hear from them again. And one of the other things that they got going on now with debt collecting, they could send you texts and emails now. So
what do you think about this commercials that say it's a government grant that can help you pay your bills off?
don't fall for a lot of this stuff is scams. So
they really government ain't giving you money to pay your debt off.
if that was the case, you'd hear about a lot more people. Like I want my money and I want it now. Like those commercials.
Yeah.
Like it's a lot of people taking advantage of people in different situations, and I just encourage anyone, if you ever hear from any type of thing like that, doing more research before you sign or obligate yourself to anything, because 9 times out of 10, they're asking you to give them money for you to get money, and I never heard of that.
And also another one thing I've learned that you have to have it in writing before you send them money about payoffs.
And see, and that's one of the other things too. Like that go into like the payday lenders and things like that. It's so easy to get these loans now. You don't really have to do anything. You can sign up for it online, but be careful with the terms that you agreeing to, because like I've dealt with it. People are signing up for loans where they have like $200-$300 payments every 2 weeks, and when they call, they like when you call them because they're not making their payments, they like, I thought this was only once a month, and then they're getting upset about the interest rate, which is almost 300%. But a lot of this stuff is in writing before you actually sign the terms to get that money.
But the writing is so small.
One of the other things about it, it's not so small. It's there, it outlined. But the other thing about it too is if you feel you don't want to pay this back, there is a rescission period where once they do deposit those funds into your account, you get 5 days to pay that back. You're not obligated to it anymore. So that's a way to save yourself from it if you feeling leery about it. But once that 5-day window is closed, you obligated to whatever terms that you signed up for.
So basically, be careful what you sign.
Exactly. Do as much research as you can, and for the most part, I would stay away from those type of loans because the interest rates on those are very high, and the payments that you sign up for are high also.
Them old school people had it right. Pay cash for whatever you want. I mean, house is different. It's way more money, but if you got like something like a car, or try to pay cash for it, because that way you don't go through all this interest that you're giving extra money to them for. some people make it work for them. I mean, some people make the loans work for them, but on the overall scale, a lot of people is in a lot of debt over these credit cards and loans.
And that's one of the things that like you said, what I see a lot of, especially this time of year with taxes coming and everything, people using their income tax checks to get a down payment on a car that they can't afford to pay. Like, I stay in K-Town, and the rent here is not super high, but I see a lot of people with cars that's more than they rent.
Yeah.
And
the Mercedes.
I don't see the logical and fiscal sense of that, but to each their own. But at the same time, I do see, like now it's March. By June, some of these cars won't be sitting in front of the house, because they've been repoed or whatever. So you have to think about all of this stuff before you sign up with the terms, and that's one of the things that I find myself very responsible in, as far as not signing myself up for more than I can handle.
Well, you at the dealer, you want this car. They gonna tell you, okay, it only costs $30,000, $31,000, but that's not the price out the door. You finna do a credit check. They gonna see what your interest rate is that they gonna give you, and based on the interest rate, they gonna add some interest on top, plus the doc fee, all type of different fees, different packages on the car. So you figure about 40 out the door. You paying like eight to 900 or 700, 800 just for a month. Not to mention you gotta pay for gas, you gotta pay for
insurance,
car insurance, and a brand new car insurance. If you ain't never had no insurance, it's gonna be pretty high.
And then you also have to pay the licensing fees and all of that.
The stickers every year, the city stickers is outrageous. The state stickers $151, that's outrageous. You got the car washes, and then you got the maintenance. You gotta go get the oil change after $5,000, and then you gotta go get whatever else, a flat. That's another tire $200. So basically, all these, you say I want a car, and you say it's just gonna be this a month. No, it's not. It's gonna be way more. It's gonna be that plus the insurance, plus the maintenance, plus whatever else, fuel. It skyrockets. There's no limit to that number, but you get what you pay for. If that's what you want to sacrifice for, and some people sacrifice for a car. For a house versus a car. Let's say you get a Mercedes, 125,000 G-Wagon. Might as well go get me a $100,000 house and put 25 in it, and I have a house versus a G-Wagon. Then I get a G-Wagon once my house straight. So it's just the order if that's what you want to do. So like you really have to know what you want in life. So I think we're about 30, 40 minutes in. We're gonna do a shorter show today. So people was complaining we got long shows, man. That's a long amount of time. So we're gonna see how this play out with a shorter show. And you got any closing statements?
I would just be mindful of what you signed up for. Take into account what you have coming in and what your obligations are as far as rent, either be a rent, mortgage, what you have to pay for food, transportation, and what you will need as far as clothing and whatnot. Factor all of that in before you sign up for any type of loan. And with credit cards, make sure you're paying back more than what they ask for. And one of the other things too is to keep your credit line, to not disrupt your credit rating, is not using more than a third of whatever your credit line is, and keeping your payments up every month. And those are surefire ways to build credit and get access to more credit at the same time. But those are my keys.
I got some. The basics in life is food, clothing, and shelter. Getting the car, if it's for your job or to get to a job, that's ideal. Food, clothing, shelter is the main thing. So separate from that, you can be saving the money you making at work, whatever a month, and then if it's enough to buy a car comfortably and be able to pay for insurance and all that, you good. But having a whole bunch of credit cards is not fun, because once them interest rates hit you, you just paying interest off if you're paying minimum. So yeah, thank y'all for watching.
It's Feel Better TV. Follow me on Instagram, Feel Better TV. Like, subscribe, share, comment. Let us know how we doing. And we got Rico Chill.
Yeah, on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. Check me out. Check Phil out, Feel Better TV on those apps that he said. And hey, let's get this debt knocked down, man. Let's get this debt knocked down. Debt is real.
We'll be back kicking the bobos.
All right. Boom.